Hello and welcome to another episode of What Travis Says. My name is Travis. Let's talk about Doctor Who. More specifically, let's talk about the episode Empress of Mars. Now, if you've not yet watched the Empress of Mars, blah blah blah, go watch that right now, blah blah blah, this video will have spoilers. As far as I'm able to tell, this episode has gotten kind of mixed reviews from fans. Some really enjoyed it and some just weren't impressed. But now that we're done with that three-part amalgamation with the monks, we're back to that one-episode single adventure story, which, right off the bat, it scores points with me. Written by Mark Gatiss, Empress of Mars puts the Doctor in a rather interesting predicament. He obviously cares for the human race and he wants to see humans succeed, but the humans in this scenario are the invaders. Not to mention the Ice Warriors are vastly superior when it comes to weaponry, so he knows that the humans are going to be slaughtered. But as he usually does, the Doctor is in the middle, begging each side to just consider peace. Now, Gatiss is not a stranger to the Ice Warriors. He wrote the 2013 episode Cold War, which saw the Ice Warriors return to the show. And for Empress, Gatiss had been promising a new type of Ice Warrior, and he did not disappoint. We got the Ice Warrior Queen. Until this episode, the only Ice Warrior Queen everyone knew of was named Elsa. Pause for topical laughter. Being as iconic as they are, the Ice Warriors don't really have that detailed of a backstory. So enter Mark Gatiss to help flesh out the lore by showing us the Ice Warrior Queen and the hives. Side note, the Ice Warriors are actually the indigenous species on Mars, but this is the first episode where we actually see Ice Warriors on Mars. Side note, remember that in Robot of Sherwood, the Doctor actually tells Clara that he's going to take her to the Ice Warrior hives on Mars. At least he made it. Speaking of other semi-depressing topics, I felt really bad for some of the humans that were talking about all the things they were going to do once they got back to Earth, but then they were turned into ball things. They died. But something not depressing was the fact that there were so many references and callbacks in this episode. Alpha Centauri, the Galactic Federation, the picture of Queen Victoria that wasn't actually a picture of the real Queen Victoria, but the Queen Victoria from Tooth and Claw. Though I'll be honest, it took me a second for that whole Alpha Centauri reveal. The screen popped up and I immediately thought, Missy? Because we hadn't seen anything that happened after Nardole asked for her help. I thought she would swoop in at the last second and ruin things because I am not giving her reform the benefit of the doubt. But then when the voice was speaking, I thought, that voice sounds very familiar, and it made me really happy to see AC on the screen after all these years. The entirety of my video yesterday was actually discussing Alpha Centauri, so if you haven't seen that episode yet, I'll link it down below, you should go watch it. Seeing Missy at the TARDIS console was kind of like seeing a cat on a table that's about to knock a glass over the edge. You know what's gonna happen, but you just have to move slowly before it happens. And the episode had obvious references to the current Brexit debates, or Mars Brexit? Mexit? A slightly rushed conclusion, but all in all, Empress of Mars felt like a classic Doctor Who adventure, and Peter Capaldi was fantastic as usual. Oh, and I can forgive the rushed ending because it strings into Ice Warrior lore with joining the Galactic Federation and all that. It moves really seamlessly. It works. And thank Rassilon that we finally get a single episode adventure after, what, a month of waiting for one? It was not the strongest episode in the season, but it was definitely not one of the weakest. It was a pretty solid episode. So now we get, what, like 3 more episodes until the Christmas special? I'm getting really sad now because Peter Capaldi is just that much closer to leaving the show, and I really love Peter Capaldi as the Doctor. In the comments down below, let me know your thoughts on Empress of Mars. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Were you indifferent? Let's have a conversation about our opinions. I enjoy having conversations with people who have differing opinions than I do in order to talk to them, to find out why they have certain opinions, in order to have a conversation for me to be able to explain why I have certain opinions. But love it or hate it, let me know your thoughts on Empress of Mars. As always, my name is Travis. Thank you for listening to what I have to say, and you will see me tomorrow.